2.
Hey, pod lovers. Welcome back to Feed Drops, the podcast about podcasts. I'm your host, Brian Colburn. And today we're diving deep into a hard-hitting episode from a show that's doing serious work in the true crime space. Military Murder, hosted by the incredible Mama Margot. The episode we're reviewing is titled The Barracks Predator. And fair warning, it's a tough but important listen. Margot covers the case of Sergeant Gravel Clark, a soldier at Fort Hood, now Fort Cavazos, who preyed on his fellow service members in a chilling 18-month spree. Here's a clip from The Barracks Predator, and this episode talks about multiple sexual assaults to attempted murder. This is a case that shakes you, and Margot, she handles it with grit, grace, and journalistic care.
He immediately threatened the soldier, and over the next 4 hours, he tortured this woman in unspeakable ways. Throughout these 4 hours, he undressed the victim, tied her up, gagged her with her own shirt, and then raped her. It was during this attack that the victim became physically ill, and she started to make gagging noises. And that's when the perpetrator began to waterboard the victim. Yes, you heard me correctly. I said waterboard.
The story unfolds methodically. Margot walks us through each attack, how the system failed to stop Clark, and what finally brought him to justice. But it's more than a retelling. It's an indictment of the culture that allowed a predator to operate inside a place that should have been safe. She also breaks down Fort Hood's dark history, the survivor impact, and the institutional reforms that followed. If you like true crime with depth, this episode delivers. Before we get to the numbers, here's another clip.
She takes a deep breath. She tiptoes toward the door. She manages to open the door. And then this amazing woman runs, screaming like hell, down the outside hallway of the barracks room. Now remember, it's broad daylight. It's Sunday. Everyone's probably in the barracks room. She's completely naked, tied up, and the perpetrator is still in the room. When the perpetrator realizes what has just happened, he runs outside. He points the gun at the woman as she flees.
All right, let's break down how Military Murder scored across our 10-point review system. And more importantly, why. Audio quality, 9.0. The audio is crisp, clean, and consistent throughout the episode. There's a professional polish here. No distracting background noise or mic inconsistencies. It's not flashy or overly produced, but that works in its favor, allowing the content to shine. Clarity, 9.5. Mama Margot delivers every detail with clarity. Her articulation is strong, and even when explaining complex military or legal terms, she makes them accessible without dumbing things down. That's not easy to do. Content quality, 9.5. The research behind this episode is top tier. This isn't just a retelling, it's a full investigative rundown, with timelines, survivor impact, and institutional critique. Margot connects the dots for the listener without overloading or straying. Pacing, 9.0. The episode keeps a strong momentum from start to finish. Every beat matters. While it's information dense, it never drags. Margot knows when to let a moment breathe and when to push the story forward. Tone and delivery, 9.5. Margot strikes a perfect tone for this type of story. Serious, respectful, but still engaging. There's emotion in her voice when it counts, but she never leans into the melodrama or sensationalism. Editing and post-production, 9.0. Transitions are smooth, pauses are purposeful, and the episode feels cleanly cut. There's clear care in how the episode is assembled. Even the music cues and fades feel well-timed. Sound design, 8.5. This isn't a heavily sound design show, but that's by choice. There are minimal ambient effects or music layers, which fits the show's serious tone, but a bit more atmospheric sound could elevate certain moments emotionally. Entertainment and engagement, 9.5. It might feel strange calling a true crime episode entertaining, but here, engagement is the key word. This episode grabs you early and doesn't let go. The storytelling structure is gripping and thoughtfully paced. Host dynamics. As a solo host, Margot carries the entire narrative and she does it with confidence. Her connections to the material and to her audience is clear. While there are no guests, the dynamic feels intimate and focused. Audience appropriateness 10.0. This is a sensitive story told with maximum responsibility. Warnings are clear, survivors are centered, and there's no glorification of violence. This episode respects both its subject matter and its listeners. Average score 9.2. A truly exceptional episode. Mama Margot's voice is clear, confident, and emotionally in tune with the gravity of the story. Her military and legal background give her the tools to unpack these cases with expert insights. The production quality is tight, the structure flows naturally, and it never loses its purpose to honor victims and call out systematic flaws. This one's for true crime fans who want more than recycled headlines. If you care about stories that don't always make the front page, but absolutely should, you'll feel right at home. Also ideal for listeners interested in military justice, survivor advocacy, or long-form investigative storytelling. You can find Military Murders wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for it and dive in. And if you're a podcaster out there thinking, hey, I want my show reviewed on Feed Drops, you know what to do. Hit the submit button. We love shining a light on great work. And hey, if you enjoyed this review, leave us a rating. Share this episode with a podcast-loving friend and follow along, because we've got more great shows coming your way soon. Until next time, keep listening, keep sharing, and keep loving podcasts.